Join us every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern for the Sis Laila live call-in and answer show. Please join Ustada Laila Nashiba if you have any questions in regards to this theme. Call in at 862-370-2838. Now streaming on various platforms right here on Sunnahfollowers.
Sister Laila live, Sister Laila live, weekly for the show at the hour. Ask Sister Laila live, Sister Laila, invite your friends and family, make it cozy. Ask Sister Laila.
Rasulullah. I like to welcome everybody to the Ask Sister Laila live show. This is our weekly show, whereas you guys can come and ask your questions about Islam. And inshallah, I try to answer your questions to the best of my ability. And if there is a question that I cannot ask, inshallah, I have Sheikh Abu Atayib, who is my personal teacher, on standby, who can inshallah help us with any questions. And again, there's different ways that you can get your questions answered. I am streaming live and simultaneously on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Rumble, Twitch, and Instagram and Telegram. All you have to do is just type your question, and I should be able to see it and I can answer it. Or you can join directly, go to our website at www, where the finger is, www.sunnahfollowers.net. You can type your question there in the chat box. It'll come to us. Or you can join the Zoom room where you can use the personal microphone to ask your question. Or you can simply call us. Does anybody remember the call-in number? I never can remember it. Sorry, I'm a right brain person. Bright brain people, we know we don't remember numbers. What's the number again?
862.
862. Okay. 370-2838. And that's our call-in number. That's also the WhatsApp number. You can call us directly using that phone number, and I do have operators on standby, or you can put that into the WhatsApp group. That's our WhatsApp number. Or also, we do have a WhatsApp group. You can type your questions there on our WhatsApp group, and we should be able to see them too. But most people like to just, type their questions here on Facebook or YouTube or Rumble or Twitch, and inshallah, we get the questions answered. Excuse me, I'm talking a little bit too fast and just got through eating something. Okay, so I see I have a couple of questions here already waiting on me from my new shahadas, and I can understand why they're asking me these questions, because unfortunately for us, this is that time of year where the non-Muslims make a big bah humbug out of this celebrating the birth of someone that they claim to be the son of Allah, when Allah has no sons, he has no children, no wives, no partners, or any of that. So we get these type of questions every year. And one of the new shahadas here from my Reddit group is asking me about Jesus, alayhi salam. Jesus was a prophet and a messenger sent by Allah to the children of Israel to call them back to Islam. I want you guys to understand something that's very important. All the prophets were Muslim. All the prophets were Muslim. Adam was a Muslim. So was Solomon, David, Abraham, Moses, Jesus. Islam did not begin with the birth of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Islam is an Arabic word that means total submission to Allah. And it began when Allah created the pen. The first thing that Allah created was the pen, and He told it to write, and it obeyed Him. It wrote down everything that would happen from that moment until the end of time. So Islam began with the pen. It did not begin with the birth of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What religion was Jesus? That's what the brother here is asking. Jesus was a Muslim. Muslim is an Arabic word that means one who submits to Allah. He was Muslim, as was Moses, as was every prophet that Allah sent. They lived their lives in submittance to Allah, as we should be doing. Okay, so I want everybody to understand that, Jesus was a prophet just as Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was. We love Jesus. He's one of the ones that Allah raised above the others. He's one of the most 5 greatest prophets because he was also a messenger. Jesus did not die on a cross. Jesus, Allah took his soul back up to him. As the brother is asking here, where is Jesus now? Jesus, alayhi salam, his soul is in the form of a green bird flying around the throne of Allah. And he will be reunited in his body and sent back here to earth before the last hour. And where's my Dalil? Well, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us in an authentic hadith, the source is Sahih Bukhari. He said the souls of the prophets, the souls of all the prophets are in the forms of green birds flying around the throne of Allah. Okay, so that's where Jesus is. He's not in paradise because our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam also said no one will enter paradise in body and soul until the day of judgment. And the first that will enter paradise will be the Prophet Muhammad, followed by Abu Bakr, then Umar, then Uthman, then Ali, and then the forerunners. Okay, so Jesus is not in paradise. His soul right now is in the form of a green bird flying around Allah's throne, waiting for Allah to send him back. And when Jesus comes back, he will not come back as a prophet and a messenger. He will come back as a ruler over the entire earth. And he will reestablish the sunnah or the example of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He will reestablish his sunnah, and he will uphold the Quran, and he will rule from out of Jerusalem. And then he will die. And he will be buried in Mecca. Okay? And all of those hadiths can be found in Sahih Bukhari and Muslim. So that's what you need to know about Jesus, alayhi salam. And we love him. Okay? But he is not one to be worshipped. Just as Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not one to be worshipped. The only entity worthy of worship is Allah. We don't worship our husbands. We don't worship our children. We don't worship money. We don't worship the Kaaba. We don't worship the black stone. We don't worship the Prophet Muhammad. We don't worship our parents. We worship Allah alone. I hope all the new shahadas understand that. Okay, so any questions that you all have, feel free to type them on the screen. Okay. All right. Sister Kimmy is asking about Mary, the mother of Jesus. Was she his mother? Yes, alayhi salam. Mary was not only the mother of Jesus, and not only was she a virgin, never touched by a man, but Mary, alayhi salam, is one of the best women. She is the best woman ever created. She's better even than Eve. Even though Eve was the first woman created, no woman created outpasses or surpasses Mary, alayhi salam. And there is may Allah be pleased with her. There is a whole surah in the Quran, Surah Maryam, that you new shahadas need to read, because it speaks about Mary and her family. The family of Imran, is another surah, Imran. She came from a great man and a great woman. Her mother was a true believer. Her father was a true believer. Her mother dedicated her to the service of Allah. And Mary upheld Allah's commands. She worshiped Allah alone. She trusted in him. She bore her burden with dignity, with humility and finesse, trusting in Allah and to be her protector. So yes, Jesus' mother was Mary. And there is no woman created who surpasses her. She is the first, most perfect woman created, followed by Asiya and Khadijah and Fatima, radiallahu anha. Okay. And also there is a paradise. There is a garden in paradise known as the Garden of Women. Mary will be the leader. She will be a leader over the women in paradise. And that garden, known as the Garden of Women, is a garden that where all the best women created will live in. Yes, and she will be one of the leaders over the women in paradise. So that's a little bit about Mary, inshallah. Yes. Any other questions? Do we have any questions in Zoom? No questions? Is there anybody in Zoom to look at the question? Fame, you're in there?
No questions.
Okay, good. No questions. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Just type them. Okay, I talked about that earlier today, and yes, I'll answer it again. Celebrating Christmas. What if your boss at your job offers you a present? Do I just throw it away? No. And I tell you guys this every year. You can accept gifts. I tell you guys, I went over those hadiths, the companions, the prophet. Even the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to accept the gifts from the non-believers on their days. Okay? So no, you don't have to throw it away, but you can accept gifts. But we don't give gifts. And also depending on what kind of gift. Do you understand? If they're giving you a card that says Merry Christmas, what do you guys think? Do we accept that? If your boss gives you a Christmas card that says Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year, do you accept that? What do y'all think? What do you think? Anybody in Zoom?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody thinks that you don't? Your boss wants to give you a card that says Merry Christmas, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. No, we don't accept that. Can you tell us why we don't accept that, Pamela? Can you explain why that's a gift that we don't accept? A card that says Merry Christmas? Can you explain why we don't accept that? Can anybody, and this is common sense. It's not hard to figure out. Why is it that we can't accept a Christmas card that says Happy Christmas? Exactly, because this is associate. We don't believe in that. Remember, wala wal bara. El wala wal bara. Everything in our life, either we associate or we disassociate. We disassociate from anything that contradicts our Islamic ideology. Merry Christmas. What does that mean? They're saying have a happy day of worshiping something other than Allah. I'm not a person of shirk. So why would I accept that? So no, you let your boss know. I don't accept Christmas cards. So if your boss says, okay, I'm not giving you any Christmas cards, but just to show appreciation to all of my employees, I bought you some Bath and Body candles. Can I accept a Bath and Body candle? A candle from Bath and Body? What do you guys think? Yes, because this has nothing to do, with associating partners with Allah. Accepting that Christmas card is the same as accepting a cross. If somebody gave you a gift of a cross, do you accept it? No. If somebody gave you a gift of a witch's, the 4-star of the witch, would you accept it? No, because all of that represents worshiping something other than Allah. So we distance ourselves from that. But a candle, okay. Does everybody understand? So yes, you can accept gifts depending on, first of all, what kind of gift it is. And also the person understands that, I'm not taking part in your holiday. Don't give me this gift thinking I'm going to come to the Christmas party. Because we don't go to the Christmas parties. We don't go to the company season parties. And this is one of the ways Shaitan gets us. Shaitan will use beautiful names to try to trick us. Just like instead of calling it a birthday, how many of you celebrate born days? This is my born day. That's still haram. You're worshiping yourself. You're worshiping someone. So just because the company calls it a seasonal winter party, we don't take part in that. Change the words is all still the same. So no, you don't partake in no company parties. Yes, if they offered you a turkey, okay, who gonna turn down some food? Yes, you can take that. If they offer you a bonus check, you be crazy not to take it. Okay, so yes, you can accept gifts. I mean, the Prophet accepted the gifts from people on their days, and so did the companions. But just don't partake in their celebration of stuff. Y'all understand that? Okay, here's another question, Sister Asma. She said, Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam, Sister Asma. She said, my son wanted to know when you pray Sunnah prayer at the masjid and they start the obligatory prayer, do you stop praying? Yes. You stop praying it. Because the Sunnah prayers or the voluntary prayers, they do not out-trump the obligatory prayers. So if the Adhan is being called and you're doing a Sunnah prayer, you stop this, you salam out and join the line with the Imam. And Allah will reward you. You will get the reward of that Sunnah prayer because of your intentions. And that's another way that Shaitan, your personal jinn, will try to trick you up. He'll make you think that the voluntary deeds outweigh the obligatory ones when they don't. Yes, good question. Okay, any other questions? Go ahead.
We have a question here. The question is, since we cannot take any parts of this holiday whatsoever, then what do we do with our children if they feel left out and sad because they see all of their teachers and classmates in school are all geared up and excited for the holidays?
That shows how I hate to say this, but I'm going to be straightforward. That shows that you are a failure as a parent. You are a failure as a parent, because if you're raising your children to believe La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, they should know that if they're Muslim, number one, and there's a big difference between us and those non-Muslims. First of all, this is another reason why your kids shouldn't be in Kafir school. So you done failed your kids that way too. But if you're going to put your kids in Kafir school, and if you are a true Muslim parent, you should be raising them to understand that you're better than them, that they don't believe in Allah. You do. They worship people. They worship idols. They think a big fat white man is going to come down their chimney and bring them presents. How ludicrous is that? They believe that reindeer fly in the sky and drop off gifts. So if your child feels left out, then that's a sign that you are not doing your job as a parent, because Muslim children are supposed to have high self-esteem and self-love and love for Allah. I grew up Muslim in America, and I tell y'all all the time, I grew up in the 60s, which was the civil rights movement of racism and everything else. I never celebrated no Christmas. My mother instilled in me that was ludicrous. My mother used to tell me, do you think some big fat white man is going to come down the chimney? First of all, if he's seen walking down the street dressed up in red pajamas, somebody going to pop him. And if he got a sled full of gifts, somebody going to pop him and steal his gifts. My mother kept it real. And I used to laugh at those other kids. I never felt left out. In fact, I didn't even go to school on Christmas holiday time. When it was 2 weeks before Christmas, my mother used to tell my teachers, my kids will not be in school because they're not taking part in none of your pagan rituals. So if your children feel left out, that means you have failed them as a parent. And if you don't make the correction now, your daughter, your son will not be practicing Islam when they're a teenager. And Allah is going to hold you accountable because you gave in to society instead of giving in to Allah. As a parent, you have to put your priorities in order. Your job is to nurture and instill aqidah, the correct belief system in those children. And again, a person can question, what are you doing? If your children are that weak, and that low in their self-esteem and their Muslim identity, you done failed them by putting them in public school. Why are you not homeschooling your children? Why are you not homeschooling your children? I mean, I can answer that question so many ways. It all falls on you as a parent, because children, they're more acceptable of the truth than you are because their fitra is there. Your fitra might not be there because you may have been westernized, but the child's fitra is there. So that means you're not nourishing it. So if you got a kid feeling that way, you better look at yourself as a parent and ask yourself, where have you gone wrong? And make yourself right with Allah. And Allah knows best. Does that person understand the answer?
Yes, they did. And Sister Nia, go ahead with your question.
Okay, so I'm a new Shahada, and well, thank you for having this question and answer session tonight. What should I do in the situation of, I have my niece, and I haven't celebrated Christmas for a long while, but before I came under the fold of Islam, when it came to Christmas, I would just let her know Christmas doesn't happen in my house because we don't believe in no white man coming and breaking in our house annually to eat our cookies and to drink our milk. Like, food costs too much. Like, so that's what I tell her. So this year she's like, well, I know I can't be at your house to celebrate Christmas because you don't want Santa Claus to break in. But like, how can I? Because like she's gonna still be under the influence of her mother, regardless. What can I do? In our situations to help?
Just tell her the truth. I've met her. She's intelligent as heck. You just tell her the truth. Tell her that she's been coming to these classes. Ain't no man the son of God. Just tell her the truth, because she knows her picture is there. You just tell her, that Christmas is a bunch of junk, don't you? You understand that Christmas ain't nothing but another day that the people make money off of stupid people. You know that God ain't got no son. You know that ain't no fat man and no reindeer got nothing to do with God. So we don't.
When she comes back and says, "Well, my granny said this," or the kids in school say this, like, just
then you tell her, well,
they haven't learned the proper way.
Yeah, no, just tell her the truth. I'm sorry, but Allah makes Muslims, and Allah chose to guide you to Islam. Allah chose to give the true knowledge, understanding to you. And the reality is that most people, sorry, baby, they gonna be in hell. That's just the reality. Out of every 1,000 people 999 are gonna, and that's what I'm saying, guys. We gotta be real. This is how my mother was with me. I was 6 years old. My mother was real. Mukhtar's parents were real. When we grew up, I grew up in the 60s. Mukhtar grew up in the 70s and 80s. They were real. Out of every 1,000 people 999 of them are going to be in hell. Why? Because they believed in fairy tales. Because instead of them thanking Allah for the blessings that he's given them, they rather make up stories about fat men and reindeer and snowmen and all of that. So, baby, you should feel special that Allah has chosen you over all them other people to teach the truth to. Just tell them the truth. That's how my mother was with me. That's why I got so much self-esteem. I go to school and laugh at them other kids. Y'all remember the story of Prophet Abraham? He laughed at the people. He was the only person in his entire country that believed in Allah. He said, y'all worshiping these statues that can't even defend themselves, that can't even feed themselves, that if they fall down, they can't pick themselves up. How silly are you? We have to tell the kids the truth, because children can accept the truth better than we can. Because again, their fitra is lit. And by the way, keep them out of school on those days. If y'all got them in these non-Muslim schools, keep them out of schools on those days. They sick, call in sick. It's simple.
Yeah. I have one more question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, I know what Assalamu alaikum means, but what is Assalamu alaikum?
The same thing. It's just this. Remember, guys, Arabic is a language. It's not a religion. And by it being a language, it has its verbs, its adverbs, like English and French have theirs. In Arabic, when you address a woman, you say ki. If you're addressing a man, it's something different. But it's just the same thing. It's just the phonetics. Just like French. If I'm speaking to a male, I'll say one thing. A female, I'll put an A at the end. And so that's just grammar. But assalamu alaikum, it means the same thing as assalamu alaikum. Kum is to everyone. Ki is to a woman. Kum is to a man. It's just grammar. That's why I tell y'all, don't get caught up in language. Learn the deen. Just say assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam. If it's a person that knows how to speak Arabic and they want to be formal, then they are speaking to a woman, they'll say assalamu alaiki to a female.
Oh,
okay. That's all that is. It's just grammar. But it all means the same thing. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you. That's all. Everybody got that? Yeah. Yeah, Sister Kimmy says she got messed up on that before too. Yeah, it's just grammar. That's just a language. Learn Akida. Just say assalamu alaikum to people and keep it, call it a day. You ain't got to get all formal and grammatical if you don't know the grammar. And if people want to make fun of you because you don't speak a language, tell them, so I bet you I know what la ilaha illallah means. I bet you I know how to answer them questions of the grave. Because all that language ain't going to get you through the question of the grave. You can use all the formality you want to. If you don't believe or not upon a correct belief system, it ain't going to help you. Yeah, so don't get sidetracked with language, guys. Learn this religion. Yeah. Yeah, Sister Pamela says she doesn't even let her kids go to school on those days. Good job, Pamela. Yeah, if you guys can homeschool your children, I mean, the schools are bad. Muslim schools are bad and non-Muslim. I'd have to tell the truth. The same thing that goes on in these Kafir schools goes on in these Muslim schools too. Y'all know because we hear about it all the time. If you guys can homeschool your children, that is much better for you. Homeschool your kids, man, because the world is a bad place and it's getting worse and worse and worse. And if kids don't have self-esteem about their religion and their identity is messed up, what are you doing as a parent? That's bad. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions in there? Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, brother. Yes, I already answered that. If your job is having a Christmas dinner, no. We don't Okay, let me explain this to the new shahadas, and I'm speaking now as a paralegal. Okay, you guys have to understand one thing about America is freedom of religion. That's what their constitution says. And like I told you guys, there's a separation here between religion and state. Can't no job make you violate your religion and go to a Christmas party. If any job tries to do that, you get on the phone with HR. I'm sure you have a human resource department, and you tell them that you want to file a complaint, an EEO complaint. Also, every state in America has a civil rights commission. Look on the internet for the phone number to the Civil Rights Commission of the state in which you live and contact them and tell them that your job is trying to force you to violate your religious belief, and they will deal with them. Okay, because no one can force you to violate your religious belief. And I go through this every year. And what behooves me is this: the Jehovah's Witnesses, the Seventh-day Adventists, the Orthodox Jews, they know the laws. Jehovah's Witness, Seventh-day Adventists, Orthodox Jews, ain't nobody gonna even try to make them participate It's you Muslims that have to get educated. Like the prophet said, we don't have the intelligence of the Christians. You know, we're too just emotional. We don't even look up and see what resources are available. Okay, so no, your company cannot force you to go to no Christmas party. You know, you better get on the phone with HR and they cannot come back at you. Anybody that files a complaint of discrimination based on race, color, or religion or political affiliation, they cannot retaliate against you. If they do, that's a $200,000 lawsuit against that company. I done did enough cases of this, okay, and won every single one I filed. All right? You know, so no, they cannot force you. That's silly. Y'all better start speaking up like them Jehovah Witnesses and Seventh-day Adventists does. Exactly. Exactly. All right. The law knows best. Yeah, go ahead. Next questions. Why can't we do New Year's Day? Okay, for the new Shahadas, New Year's Day. This transgresses upon our allegiance as Muslims. Remember, I talked about this in my Tawheed class. When you declare La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, you are declaring that your allegiance is to Allah, to the Prophet Muhammad, to the Muslims and the religion of Islam, and that you are distancing yourself from any ideology or anything else that contradicts our lifestyle. Okay, the new year represents nothing for us as Muslims. There's no such thing as a Muslim New Year either. That's something that Umar did, not for celebration. Umar began his letters with the year of the migration to be different from the non-believers. But that's not a holiday for us. That ain't nothing to celebrate or worship. New Year means nothing to us. And that's why Umar did that, to show them that this is nothing. So we don't celebrate New Year. A New Year represents nothing for us. If there would have been a New Year in Islam, it would have been Ramadan, because Ramadan is the month of change. Ramadan is the month of forgiveness. Ramadan is the month of new beginnings. Okay? So we don't celebrate New Year's because it's not part of our culture. Our culture is Islam. It represents nothing for us. It's not going to bring us closer to Allah. And we definitely don't believe in the garbage that the non-Muslims carry into New Year. Does everybody understand that? So again, it all falls back upon allegiance. El-wala wal-bara. Your allegiance is to the religion of Islam, not to the Kafir way. We don't imitate them. We do the opposite of them. The Prophet said, do the opposite of them. Do the opposite of the jinn. Do the opposite of the non-believers. So we don't partake in New Year celebrations. And we definitely don't make New Year resolutions. We don't believe in that. We believe that resolutions are made every day in our life. Every day we evaluate ourselves. Every day we check to see what weaknesses we have and what strengths we have. Every day we evaluate to see if we need to repent, and we repent as often as we can. So New Year totally contradicts our Islamic way of living and thinking. So we don't take part in it. We do el-bara. El-bara. Everybody understand that? So it's not a matter of worship, it's a matter of allegiance. Where's your allegiance? To the new year? We got Ramadan. Ramadan is the month of change for us. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. Any other questions? Exactly. This is all a sign that, we're not proud of who we are. And that's what we have become today. These are the days of fitan. Whereas we no longer have that Muslim identity that those companions had. And we take no pride in our identity. We want to fit in and blend in and be like the Kafirs. Ever since 9/11, it's all about blending in and being accepted by the Kafir. Okay, any other questions or comments?
The next question is it okay to buy my spouse gifts and flowers on Valentine's Day?
We do not celebrate Valentine's Day. As our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, every people have their holidays. We only have two, the Eid al-Adha and the Eid al-Fitr. Valentine's Day is not part of our culture. It's not part of our way of life. Valentine's Day contradicts our Islamic moralities. Valentine's Day is the day that women and men give gifts to their lovers. One of the 10 commandments is, thou shalt not commit adultery. Another 10 commandment, thou shalt not fornicate. So now you are giving presents to your lovers, to your boyfriends, to your girlfriends. And this totally contradicts the reality that Allah hates fornication. Allah hates adultery. You're asking somebody to be your lover. We don't take people as paramours or lovers in Islam. So why are you celebrating some filth like that? And even if you say you're married, again, that's not our way. We don't do that to our husbands. We don't do that to our wives. If a man brought me some flowers on a Kafir holiday, you know what I would say? I would take it as an insult. I would look at him and say, dude, are you a convert? This is why I don't marry converts. This ain't my lifestyle. You're treating me like some Kafir woman. I'm better than that. I'm better than a Kafir woman. You don't bring me no Valentine's crap. So that contradicts our Islamic morality. And again, we don't take part in that which contradicts the laws of Allah. So why would you and your husband celebrate that? That shows that you and your husband got some Aqidah issues. Now do y'all see why there'll be more people in hell than in paradise? How can you say you believe in Allah when you're celebrating a holiday that's all about the opposite of what Allah likes? It's about adultery. It's about fornication. That's Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is not even about marriage. It's about lovers. Your secret lovers. We don't believe in that crap in Islam. So why would you and your husband celebrate that? Something wrong with y'all. We got some issues. Mm-hmm. All right, Allah knows best. I hope I made it clear. 2 holidays. Only 2 holidays we got is Eid al-Adha and Eid al-Fitr. If it's not Eid al-Adha or Eid al-Fitr, we don't take part in these Kafir holidays. These are Kafir holidays. Remember, the Prophet Muhammad said, anyone who imitates a people, you are one of them. Valentine's Day is what non-Muslims celebrate who don't believe in Allah, who reject the 10 commandments. You're imitating them. You and your husband are imitating a people who don't believe in Allah and who reject the 10 commandments. So according to what the Prophet said, you are one of them. You're not of him. So are you of what the Prophet Muhammad came with, or are you what these Kafirs do? Y'all got to start thinking like that. Exactly. What about if I wanted to celebrate my son's graduation or the day me and my wife got married? There's nothing wrong with that because those are not holidays. That's just you rewarding. If you're celebrating your son graduating from college, that ain't no holiday. You're rewarding him. I'm going to take my son out to dinner because he did a good job and graduated from school. That's a reward. That's not a celebration of a holiday. And that's the problem. Like the Prophet said, we don't have that common sense. What's the difference between rewarding someone and celebrating someone? Big difference. Look up the meaning of reward and look up the meaning of celebrate. Celebrate is an action of worship. All actions of celebration must be for Allah. Reward is different. So I'm going to take my granddaughter out because she graduated from college. That's a reward. This ain't no holiday. We ain't celebrating nothing. We ain't partying. It's just good job. Now go make the money and help me pay my rent. Okay? It's your anniversary. That's something special between you and your husband. That has nothing to do with worshiping or celebrating either. I'm going to cook a nice dinner because we've been together for 50 years. You put up with me. And for 50 years, I put up with you. So this is a reward. So there's nothing wrong with you and your husband having dinner together to reward one another for sticking by each other. Y'all see the difference? You ain't rewarding nobody with Christmas. You ain't rewarding nobody with Valentine's Day. Because my wife had a baby. Now we're going to have an akikah. You know, that's not no holiday. We're having an akikah and we're slaughtering a sheep or goats as a way of thanking Allah. I'm thanking Allah for my wife bringing into this world a child that was a gift from Allah. So you're sacrificing for the sake of Allah and you're thanking Allah with an akikah. It's not the same as Christmas, Valentine's, New Year's Day, and this stuff that Halloween and this crap that these Kafirs are doing. We have an hadith. What's the source? Sahih Muslim. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, what makes our celebrations different than the non-believers is our celebrations always center around thanking and remembering Allah. So I'm going to cook a dinner and me and my husband are going to sit here because we've been together for 10 years. We put up with each other for 10 years And we always think about how, wow, Allah got us through this. Allah got us through that. Allah blessed us with these kids. This is what makes our, like the prophet said, celebrations different. Our celebrations always entail glorifying, praising, thanking Allah. Whereas the non-believers, it's all about drop it like it's hot. Party. All right. Any other questions? Hope I'm making this clear.
The next question is, regarding today's class, I understand that after the child reaches puberty, the father has more rights. What if we allow the child to choose and the child chose to stay with the mother? Is that okay? And what if the father refuses to accept that?
Okay, I want you guys to understand in today's class, we talked about the laws of Allah. Those are the laws of Islam. But of course, as a ex-husband and wife, we can make, like I said at the end, our own decisions. I mean, such as the man can say, you can keep your kids. A lot of men don't want to raise no children. It takes a certain type of man that's going to take them kids from you. Most men don't want to be bothered, especially African-American men. That's just part of slavery, I guess. I don't know. Okay? But like we said, the husband and wife can make other alternative agreements. Allah says that in the Quran, the husband and wife, they can come up to amicable other agreements. It's not saying that I have to give the kids to the husband. If the man don't want them, he'll say, look, you can keep them. It's not saying that that just because I got married, he has to take them. He might say, I don't want them. Most men don't want to be bothered with kids because they got 2, 3, 4 wives and ain't no woman gonna want nobody else's babies to raise. So none of that stuff means it has to be done. Allah says in the Quran, these are the rules. These are the rules I put in place. But if you and your ex-wife want to sit down and come up to another resolution, you can. Do you understand now? Does that ask the person, do they understand? We can come up to amicable agreements. Okay, well,
and it said,
go ahead.
It said the question was that they allow the child to choose, and the child chose to stay with the mother, but the father says he wants the child. She wants to know what.
Well, if the father said he wants the child, then he gets the child, because since when do a child tell you what to do? Children don't tell us what to do. We the parent. That's another problem with westernization. Okay? If the father wants the child and the child wants the mother, too bad. The father takes the child. That's just how it is. Now, he could say, well, I don't want you either, and tell you stay with your mama. But understand, I ain't giving you no money. He might come back at you like that. But the bottom line, what I taught you today are the laws. Now, if you got some quirky situation like that, if a child says, I want to go and stay with mommy, the father still has the right. The law is the law. But if the father agrees to let you keep the child and he tell you, well, guess what? I ain't paying no money. Then you reap what you sow. You understand the answer now?
Yeah, she gets it.
Okay, here's a question here. She said, I work at the hospital as a medical secretary. At the hospital, they use the they pronoun if they don't know the gender of the patient arriving. As a secretary, I can the gender. I don't know what you mean by I can the gender of the patient. What does that mean? I just call them him or her because I can see the gender. You don't do nothing. I keep telling y'all about this gender crap. Allah does not hold you or me accountable for the sins of somebody else. You are a secretary. Your job is to just type into a computer what they tell you to type. You don't know that person. You are not that person. That person ain't even a Muslim. So you're not held accountable for them. If that person calls themselves Gay Blade, then you just type in the computer, Gay Blade said whatever. Allah doesn't hold you accountable for Gay Blade. Do you understand? These are kafirs. And you're at a job. Do your job. Allah doesn't hold you accountable for what that. Just like your co-workers. Some of your co-workers smoke weed. Some of your co-workers are having sex with each other. So because they're living that type of lifestyle, it means that you can't type in a computer an email to them. Allah doesn't hold you accountable, sister, for anyone else. You do your job. You can call them Gay Blade Jade if that's their name. These people are not part of your life. That's why I'm telling y'all got to learn al-bara, how to distance yourself. How to distance yourself. I'm here as a medical secretary. It's my job to put in this computer that this person calls himself they. So that's his name. What's his name? They. So you call him they too. He ain't a part of your life. You ain't got nothing to do with they. That's they's problem. You punch out. When it's time to go home, you hit your time clock and you go home. Now, if that person came to your mosque, it's a different story. If they came to your mosque, you would let everybody know they is a man. But these people are not part of your life. You're just doing a job. Do you understand, Pearl? Do you understand? You guys are going to have to learn how to distance yourself. When you're at the job, do your job and distance yourself from that other crap. That ain't none of your business. Just do your job. If he calls himself stupid, you call him stupid too. If that's what he is stupid, you say stupid. Stupid. If he calls himself dog, what do you care? You're just doing your job. He ain't in your life. He's a kafir. Kafirs do all kind of crazy stuff. Yeah. Okay, you understand, Pearl? Yeah, and I understand what you're saying because, you're a medical secretary. And by the way, I'm proud of you. I always put my heart out to the people in the medical field. Y'all know that. Yeah, well, this is your job. Okay? So whatever their name is, that's what you call them. If they call themselves Dubaga, you call them Dubaga. What they got to do? You're just doing your job. This is business, not personal. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Yeah, so if you're a medical secretary and it says in a computer that this person will refer to themselves as they know, that ain't got, you got to learn, guys, we obey Allah in our life. This is a job. You're not held accountable for what other people are doing. Most people in the world are going to be in hell. Most people on earth don't believe in Allah. Most people on earth are gay. Most people on earth do drugs. Most people on earth smoke. They fornicate. They adulterate. Do you think Allah is holding you accountable for what everybody else is doing? Now, if you decided to be gay. And if you called yourself a man when you a woman, now you're held accountable. Do you understand? You're not held accountable for the sins of nobody but yourself. Yeah. Okay, here's another question. Let's see. What if the man wants to only give what he wants to give? No agreement. Yes, go to court. Exactly. Sister Bantu. Exactly. Exactly. Once you and the Islamic judge, y'all have sat down with him and he refuses to do what he has to do, then yes, there's no sin on you for going to court to get what you need for your children. Yeah, if he won't listen to you and the judge, the Islamic judge, then no, you do what you got to do, because he's got to take care of the children. Allah is clear. It's his job to provide and maintain those kids. And if he doesn't want to do it the Islamic way, then you just have to go to court and get child support from him. And that happens a lot. That happens a lot. These brothers, some of these brothers are messed up like that. They don't want to take care of their responsibility. Okay, any other questions? Oh yeah. Yeah, if he don't do his job, Umi, take him to court. It's a shame that Muslims can't sit down and work things out Islamically. And that's sad that we have to do that. But that's the state that we're in. We're living in the days of fitan, the days that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam warned us of, the days of when people will disobey Allah. They will issue Islamic verdicts that go against Allah's laws. The sunnah will become forgotten. The sunnah will become abandoned. So sometimes we got to do that. It's sad, but it happens. Yes. Okay, so the sister here is asking, so there's no celebrations that we can celebrate for the no. Again, it's a matter of your allegiance. You guys are Muslim now. You are now upon a new way of life, a new lifestyle. So your allegiance is supposed to be to Islam now. All the stuff you did before Islam, it's gone. You know, Islam is not just a religion, it's a way of life. This is your culture. This is your lifestyle. Your lifestyle, your culture is 2 holidays. That's it. Your lifestyle, your culture, when a woman gets pregnant, you don't have a baby shower. We have an aqiqah. You understand? This is your lifestyle now. If you get pregnant, we have an aqiqah. All right? Yes, you follow our lifestyle now. Leave that kafir stuff alone. Exactly. Okay, here's another question from a sister from Reddit. Okay, mashallah, you one of the Reddit sisters? Alhamdulillah. Okay, she said, every year I try to tell my mother that my kids are Muslim, don't buy them gifts. What do I do? Okay, like I said, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the companions, they accepted gifts from the non-Muslims on their days. But in this case, this Christmas stuff, this is shirk. So you make it clear to your parents that you are not accepting anything on those days. On their days of Christmas, you're not bringing the children around. On those days of Christmas, You're not even going to entertain guests. On those days of Christmas, nothing. Okay? And you have to put your foot down. Because taking them over to her house is celebrating. That's all she's going to do is have them celebrating. And that's sending out a mixed message. You tell the kids this, every people, you tell them what the prophet said. Every nation has its holidays. Our nation, our holidays are Eid al-Adha and Eid al-Fitr. But this is your mother belongs to a different nation of Christianity. Their holiday is Christmas. Their holiday is when they give gifts. We're not going to reject the gifts, but we're not going to accept them on their days of shirk because we don't worship Jesus. Jesus was not born on that day. So if they want to give gifts or presents, it has to be after that or before that. Preferably Ramadan would be better. Okay? And that's what you want to try to do. Try to work your parents up to Ramadan as you learn more about Islam and they accept you more. But for now, don't take your kids over there. And that's for everybody, guys. Don't take your children over to visit with your relatives during those days of Christmas. And don't allow any guests to come to your house. Then after that New Year's and all that stuff is over, after the New Year and all that crap is over, if your parents want to bring the kids some toys or stuff, then they can. But make sure you let the kids know that we don't celebrate that. We don't believe in that. Tell them the true story of Jesus, alayhi salam. He wasn't born in no manger. He didn't die on no cross. Wasn't no Joseph around, and didn't no little drummer boy come beating that drum. Ba-ra-pa-bum-bum, ba-ra-pa-bum-bum. Wasn't none of no ba-ra-pa-bum-bums. Let them know that. Tell your children the truth. But tell them we're not going to turn away their gifts because every people have their day. But they got to bring it to us way after that because of shirk. Just explain it to them. Does everybody understand? Does that make sense in the Zoom room? Mina, does that make sense for these new shahadas?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yes. It's very good that you made it clear that not to go over there to their house or go to any kind of function.
Yes.
It brings in confusion.
Yeah, and that's shirk. This is the ultimate sin. This is, let the kids know, this is the sin that Allah will never forgive. So we don't take part in none of their celebration crap. We ain't going over there. Okay? Now after all this stuff, after these days are done, then they can drop their stuff off. Mm-hmm. Walaikum salam, Brother Fahim. Walaikum salam, Brother Fahim. Good to see you. Yes, any other questions? Just type them on the screen. Any in the Zoom room?
Yeah, the next question is, as a new Shahada, when will I get to the point where I will not care about any of these holidays and be content with what Allah made lawful for us as Muslims? How do I become strong like you?
Okay, this is a lifetime, a commitment to Allah. I want you, all the new Muslims, to remember, Allah says in the Quran, just because you say you believe in me, don't think I won't test you. So when you guys took Shahada, you said you believe in him. So now he's going to test you to see if you do. If you're going to choose him over these Kafir holidays, choose him over parties. And the way you get that is by building up your belief in Allah, your faith in him. The more you guys come to my classes, you guys have to participate in my classes, and your faith will continue to grow. Next year, you should be able to look at yourself and say, wow, I was there that year. Now look at me. I don't care about Christmas now. But it's not going to happen overnight. You got to continue to learn about your religion. Come to my classes. You got to learn about the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You have to pray your prayers every day and ask Allah to strengthen your faith. Ask Allah to strengthen your belief in Him. And ask Allah to give you the ability to submit to Him without question. The companions did that. They used to make dua. They used to ask Allah, oh Allah, strengthen our faith. Oh Allah, make us submit to you in everything you say. So just make a lot of dua. I'm this way because I was born and raised Muslims. You guys are converts. I came from a strong family. Like I said, I grew up in the 60s. That was the civil rights period here in America. Those were the 60s were some of the worst times in American history. And I grew up with the Malcolm X era. Okay, my stepfather, Mukhtar's father, they came from Malcolm X, man. They came from the Black Panthers and all that, the Black nationalists, Malcolm X. Okay, so it's different for me. And my mother was strong. My stepfather strong, and they instilled this in me when I was 6 years old. Parents today are more concerned with money. We're more concerned with making money than we are instilling that Islamic identity into our children. So it's gonna just takes time, you know, and make a lot of dua. Okay, that the Prophet said each generation of Muslims will become further and further and further away from the truth. I grew up in the 60s. This is 2024, 63 years later. The Muslims today are not on the same level that the Muslims were in the 60s. In the 60s, America had the draft. They were making you go fight in Vietnam. The Muslims in the 60s in my era stood up and said, we'll go to jail rather than join the war. And a lot of Muslims went to jail rather than join the war. But Muslims today, the kids are joining the army and stuff like it's nothing. And they're not even being forced. So each generation becomes worse. And like I said, I'm an old woman. I'm 63 years old. In the 60s, we died for what we believed in. There were a lot of men and women who died for the right to be Muslim, the right to say La ilaha illallah. Malcolm X died for that. He died, to instill true Sunni Islam here in America. That's the era I'm from. That's what my stepfather was with. That's who Mukhtar's father was with. That's who Khalid Yassin was with. We're from a different era. People are weak and broken today. Yeah. Next question. Yes. No, we don't do that either. No Christmas trees, none of that stuff. None of that. No Christmas lights, no Christmas trees. No, none of it. What if your job asks you to decorate? Tell them no. Tell them no. It's not a part of my religion. And if they try to make you decorate, you contact human resources. Just like the Jehovah's Witnesses do. They don't decorate either. The Seventh-day Evangelists, they don't decorate either. You Muslims better get on the phone and call HR and say you want to file EEO or contact your state civil rights commission. They can't make you decorate. That's against your religion. Freedom of religion here. If they got the right to be gay and call themselves they, I have the right to be Muslim and not decorate. Exactly. Yes, just tell your co-workers to do it. That you can't do no decorations. Tell them that you're a Muslim now, so you don't decorate the office no more. You don't do that. Not no more. Yes, and they can't fire you. Okay, guys, I don't know if y'all can see what she typing. She said that she works for a dental office, and every year she used to do the annual decorations. She likes to decorate. She would decorate the office for Christmas, for New Year, for Easter, and all that. She's saying that now, what is she going to do? And I'm telling her, no, you don't. You tell somebody else. I don't do that. I'm a Muslim now. And I hope you're wearing your hijab, right? And that's another thing I want to talk about. You can't let these non-Muslims see hypocrisy within you. You're going to look pretty foolish telling your co-workers that you cannot decorate the office because you're Muslim, but you still got your hair weaves on. You got the Cardi B pants going on, the Nicki Minaj chest. You know, respect is earned, not given. And that's something that you Muslim women have to understand. You want them to respect you as a Muslim woman, then you have to respect yourself as a Muslim woman and show respect to Allah and to the rest of the women in the world who are Muslim by dressing the part too. Your boss is going to look at you as a hypocrite. Oh, you Muslim now? Why come you Muslim when it's time to decorate, but you ain't Muslim when you flirting with me behind the closed doors? Y'all get what I'm saying? You Muslim, you don't look like them people on TV. You look like Cardi B. So you sisters, I hope you women are covering up. I hope you women are dressing the way you're supposed to. Otherwise, they're not going to take you serious. And I know that as an ex-union rep and an ex-paralegal. Oh, yeah. Y'all, let me tell y'all what happened. I used to work for the government. When the COVID came out, the first thing they did was order the men to shave their beards. I'm a paralegal, and I was the union president. I stood up. I said, not the Muslim men. I said, I filed an unfair labor practice charge. I said, ain't no Muslim men in this state, for this state, shaving their beard because it's a violation of their civil rights. You know, I won that. I didn't even have to take it to court. They knew I was going to win it. So they said, okay, everybody got to shave their beards except the Muslims. Y'all want to know what happened? Here comes these hillbilly co-workers claiming that they were Amish. I'm Amish. And then somebody else come, I'm Muslim too. You know, because where I live, in the southern Ohio, they like to wear beards. I said, oh, here we go. Now everybody's Amish, everybody's Muslim, because they didn't want to cut them beards off. Of course, it didn't go nowhere. They had to shave their beards because we knew that they weren't Amish. We knew that they weren't Muslim. But none of the Muslim men in my field shave their beards. Okay, so again, hypocrisy. Nobody's going to respect you if they see hypocrisy in you. So you sisters, y'all can't play the Muslim card because you don't want to decorate. But you sitting there with no hijab on. You sitting there partying at the bar every Friday with them. You're sitting there dating your co-workers. Y'all get what I'm saying? You got to be the part. Because I won that. No Muslim man had to shave his beard. And them other ones that tried to pretend to be Muslim, it didn't go nowhere. They had to shave theirs.